Oh gosh, assalamu alaikum. Peace. It's Nyla, Coach Nyla. I'm setting up. Hopefully, let's get it together. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. It's Nyla, Coach Nyla. Of course, you see I'm still setting up. So behind the scenes, right now you are in the. My son is setting me up. You kind of see him. Look at that in the mirror right there. So yes, we're gonna get started in a second with the team. I did it before, and I didn't have my mic set up, and I listened to the recording afterwards. It was so bad. The audio was bad. You guys did not tell me that it was bad. But welcome to the tea and chat, the poly tea and chat. We're good, babe. Thanks. Talking to my son behind the scenes. You just saw him walk out the mirror behind me. So, and this tea and chat, and we're not going to be on too long, just because of all right, T. Close that, please. So, like on peace, guys, Nyla, Coach Nyla. I am having some really interesting issues with the internet here, so I'm hoping that we can get moving. It'll be great. We can keep it pushing, keep it moving. Especially since I have a webinar, I'm just going to start in about a little bit over a half hour. And if you guys have not registered for it, make sure you register at learnwithcoachnyla.com. And I'm going to be training on jealousy and polygyny, get a grip so your marriage won't slip. But in this TN chat, which is pretty much connected to that when it comes to jealousies, and it's really interesting. And let me know in the comments where you are watching from and all these different things like that. How are you doing? How your weekend is going? All that other good stuff. So in this Poly TN chat, we're going to talk about the societal idea of happiness for women destroying the nuclear family. What does that mean? Well, the thing is that when it comes to jealousy in our relationships, when it comes to our happiness as women, our self-care. If you guys saw the thumbnail, it says self-care is not self. And I do believe that self-care is not selfish. I always talk about self-care for reasons. Self-care, if you don't care for yourself, it's for you to care for other people. And making sure that your is fine, making sure your mental is right, your spiritual is right, your health is right, because it's difficult for you to help and care for someone else if you are not able to care for yourself, if you're not caring for yourself. So anyway, what made me think about that and thought that this was a good idea to do because I had a number of people all over social media discussing a number of different things that's going on in the media right now. And of course, we'll talk about what's going on in the media because that's what we see. That's what we're around, where you have different celebrities just all out doing their own thing. And these could be married people. Hence, one thing I'm going to bring up, and we discuss that, is the Ciara topic. And before we get into that, I'm going to get started. So make sure you have something, just not even just right when and right on, but make sure you have your questions, comments, and everything like that ready, because we're going to get started in a second. All right, yeah. Thank you guys for being here on the Poly TN chat with Coach Nyla, where we're going to be discussing the societal idea of happiness. Is the societal idea of happiness for women destroying the nuclear family? What does that mean? Guys, chime in the comments. This is a conversation, not a presentation, or not just a presentation. This is our conversation. When I do the TN chat, the Poly TN chat, is pretty much to bring awareness to the different topics, the different discussions, so we can open up the floor to the things that's going on. Now, you want some training on that? Of course, we'll do a little bit of that here, but the training mainly goes on in our OPR campus, and that's at oprcampus.com. So I was looking at a number of different things, and of course, you cannot get away from, especially if you're on social media. There's been a number of things that's been put out there. One of the things is, if you guys are not familiar with the artist Ciara, who's married to Russell Wilson, who's a football player. I got my tea. My throat has been tripping for me, so make sure you got yours if you need it. So her outfit, so to speak, was the talk of the internet. We'll say that. It was the talk of the internet. And I actually saw something in one of the sisters, I think, was commenting on it. And I guess, or was posting it. I don't know what happened, but I know it sparked up a discussion and a debate. And one of the sisters that I know was blocked from another sister's page or channel because she had respectfully stated her view about it. So people start asking about, well, why is this a big issue? Well, what she's wearing, why is this a big issue for everybody? And sometimes people say, okay, well, if her husband's not having a problem with it, then we shouldn't have a problem with it. But well, we don't know if her husband having a problem with it or not. Just because he's not publicly speaking on it, it is what it is. But that doesn't mean that we do not have a say or we don't speak our mind or anything like that when it comes to morals, when it comes to how we're feeling about certain things, when it comes to what we believe about certain things. And this heavy feminism push is really causing the destruction of the nuclear family. You have a heavy push for gay rights and different things like that. You have this heavy push for single women, all the single ladies, and you have this push for saying that, okay, women worry about getting your bag and, competing with your man and all these different things like that. Whether they're saying it that bluntly or not, it's still being said. And then you have these same people who are married, who have children, who are out there flaunting their bodies for the world to see and embarrassing their families, embarrassing their husbands, and thinking that that's okay because, oh, well, she's empowered. Oh, she's doing this thing. Let me know what you think about that in the comments, because we as Muslims, and I know everybody who follow us are not Muslim, but we as Muslims are looked at as we are oppressed and because we cover and these different things like that. But we understand modesty. We understand understanding that our bodies is a gift. So everybody is not privy to that. Someone that has put in their hard-earned work and that's protecting us, that said that, I'm going to marry and take care of what I need to take care of when it comes to my family, when it comes to my wife, when I'm protecting her, providing for her, maintaining for her, then we say that, what, this is the person who is privy to this special thing, my body. That was this gift that was given to me. Why am I showing this all out for other people who don't care, who don't care about me either way, one way, shape, or form, or whatever, who don't care about that, who don't care if I embarrass myself, who don't care if I'm disrupting my home, who don't care about any of those different things. But I'm trying to show what am I trying to show them? That I'm a strong, independent woman. I don't need a man. That I'm so empowered that when I'm really disrespecting the person who cares so much about me and that's taking care of me, or that's, not just taking care of me financially, but taking care of me in helping me with the ideas that I have, or that's, pushing me to be better and all these other things. Being able to make sure that I don't have to do everything on my own, or all of those different things. I'm saying, what you do for me, it doesn't matter. It's not enough. I remember watching I don't know if it was a TikTok or something. Like, you'll see a lot of stuff on social media. Please put in the comments, I agree if you agree. You see a lot of stuff. And so I can't make this up. This is not something I'm making up. This is things that I see. But it got to the point where, let me turn this down so it's not distracting me. So it was a lady that was talking about that her man is like, he don't impress her by taking care of her. He doesn't impress her. That's something he's supposed to do anyway. And she don't have to do specific things for him because that's what he's supposed to do for her. I'm seeing so much of that when it comes to not only just, women in relationships, but as wives, where it's like, well, this is your job. You pick this. You're supposed to do this. What about our responsibility as wives? We have responsibilities too. And that's why I love being Muslim, and I love Islam, because it regulates these things, where it states that, our husbands have rights over us as well as we have rights over them. Our children have rights over us just as we have rights over them. It's not a one thing. Is you do this, you take care of this, and I can do whatever I want to do. So to see these things and to say, well, you're oppressed, or, you're not happy. It's another celebrity out there. And yes, I can talk about the celebrities because those are the people who are in the forefront. These are, and it's another celebrity. And I talked about her earlier in another TN chat. Was Tia Mowry, who was married to Corey Hardrick, and I talked about their divorce. And now she's in the news again, but she made some comment about her divorce not being a failure, but a graduation. So she graduated from divorce, she graduated from marriage or something on the lines of that. But when I was watching, when she was on some talk show, a little clip of it, she stated that it was that it's like school, like if you you're taking a class in college or high school or something like that. So what type of sense does that make? And I'm saying that, and I'm really being this is not one of these cutesy nice little talks right now, because this has really been boggling my mind, and I'm seeing it destroy so many families, so many women, where it's putting these things out there that we are against each other, and it's the battle of the sexes. And suddenly you have these children in the midst, because I'll just talk about Tia just because as an example. They have 2 children together. She and her ex-husband have 2 children together, an 11-year-old son and a 4-year-old daughter. My thing is saying that stuff and living your life the way you're living it now, because we are, whether we want to believe it or not, we are the role models of our children, and our children look at what we do, especially those at those ages, those ripe ages. Let me know if you agree. Put it in the chat, put it in the comments if you agree. Our children look up to us. We are the ones who are showing them initially how to behave, how to act, how to react, how to respond, these different things. So they're watching. So when you go and say something on live TV or on the air that oh, my marriage is, or my divorce is, I'm not going to look at it as a failure. I'm not saying that you just got to look at things as a failure, because yeah, it could be something that I just needed to move on. This was not working. But when it's something that they say irreconcilable differences, I didn't say that right at first. Usually it's just saying that we're just really not trying to work it out. It's not abuse, it's not neglect, it's just, you know what? I want to go my own way. So to me now, since marriage is, just a class you take, like you're in college or high school or something, and you learn from that, not realizing that there's feelings and emotions and time and investments that went into that. Instead of saying that, oh yeah, let's work this out. I was like, well, irreconcilable differences, I'm going to go my separate way. You know what? Well, I learned some things from this, even though you could have still worked on building your marriage. However it is, what they had to do was whatever they had to do. That's their life. It is what it is. But I've known, even as a coach and in different situations, usually it's that, okay, we need to work out some things within ourselves. And so I give tools, to my clients on that. I teach those things in the campus and in the courses, because it's important. It's important that we work on ourselves more than we work on anything else. So to say, she said, one of the things Tia said, she was talking about how we as wives and mothers and things like that we kind of sacrifice. And I get, the thing is, certain things I do get. I get it. I understand that, because you'll get people to agree. And I'll agree too. Like, heck yeah, we be thinking about other people more than we think about us. Yeah, girl, I get it. However, when we think about it, we say, okay, well, I sacrificed my life and my time, and because I was thinking about everybody else, and I wasn't thinking about me. And so in order for me to have my self-care and think about myself, then I'm just going to get a divorce and I'm going to leave my family behind, or I'm just going to get a divorce and say, you know what, this is just me time to focus on me and do me. See, one thing is that I'm not saying that we shouldn't care for ourselves. Self-care is very important. I started it, I opened it up with that. Self-care is very important. We definitely should work on ourselves. We definitely should care for ourselves. We definitely should take that time out. I teach on that. I'm going to talk about more on that in the webinar that I'm going to be doing in about a half hour, about how we work on our self-care so we can keep jealousy at bay when it comes to being in our marriages. And my co-wife and I did a podcast and talked about jealousy. And she brought up something that I didn't even think about. And it it was really interesting. And I had to speak on that because I had to think about it. I think on it. And she brought up a thing about sometimes women in polygyny it's not about them being jealous of their co-wives. It's not even about that. It's about them being jealous of their husbands. That they're jealous that their husband can do these other things, that he can have these double or more, things being married in polygyny. You have multiple dates and multiple trips and these multiple things and these other types of things. And I didn't think about that. I was like, wow, that's interesting. However, I'm not going to condone bad behavior and say that that is okay to be comparing yourself to what your husband can do. Because in addition to the extra things that the extra trips or the extra dates or whatever you want to call it, there's extra responsibility. And sometimes we don't look at the extra responsibility. We look at the extra, the glitter stuff. We look at the extra rewards, but not realizing that with those rewards came a lot of work and will still have a lot of work. So that's, I think, one of the big things that when society puts out there that, oh, well, women are being oppressed, that women are not being happy in their marriages, that women are just, they're sacrificing. They're the ones that's doing the sacrificing. There's nobody else sacrificing but them. And, they're losing out, they're missing out, these different things like that. It causes destruction in the marriage, and because now we're competing with people we shouldn't even be competing with. Like, our husband is part of our team, should be part of our winning team. And again, good morning to those who stated good morning. And again, let me know where you guys are watching from. And let me know in the chat, what do you think about that? About this, the societal view of happiness. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be happy. We should. But that we are in control of that happiness. But what does that look like for real, for real? Does happiness look like, oh, it's only about me and nobody but me? Is that what happiness and fulfillment look like? Because that's the thing, is I want to get more on the fulfillment side, because happiness can wane, it can come and go. But what is fulfillment? Because Coach Nazir said, our husband, Coach Nazir, he made a comment about, you can have your favorite ice cream, you be happy and do the happy dance. So you can be happy of, small stuff. That's the low level. What about fulfillment? What does that look like? So is fulfillment just being by yourself, or you have this temporary happiness? And I'm going to go back to Tia. She made the comment about, she said something about, when I feel sad or I'm feeling bad and everything like that, then I try to snap myself out of it, and I state that, and then I start to focus more on myself again. What I'm saying is, do we not, just because we're married, just because we're mothers, that we are told that we should not focus on ourselves, that we should not build ourselves up, we should not care for ourselves? Who said that? Please show me, where did that come from? We're supposed to take care of ourselves so we can take care of ourselves as well as take care of other people. So to say, well, it's like when you put that stuff out there, it makes it seem as though that if you're married, or if you're married with children, if you're married, if you are a mother, like if you're a wife, if you're a mother, then you're just doomed for just sacrificing your life. Like you are never going to be fulfilled. You're never going to be happy. You're going to be used and abused. And in order for you to focus on yourself and to be happy, you have to get a divorce and leave your family. You have to get away from your kids. You know, I'm a mother of 5 biological children, 7 bonus kids. I ain't kids, but they my babies. But, and there are times, yes, that I'm like, okay, I need to retreat. I call it retreat. I need to, step back. I need to do some things for me. And then it's like, okay, I want to do some stuff for the family, or let's do these things, or let me send a cute text, or let me send, a nice reminder of how much, I'm thinking about them or caring for them, and those type of things like that. That's fulfilling. I don't feel like I'm losing out. I don't feel like, that I'm sacrificing my life, So that's the thing. I really believe that it's this heavy push, and the media has, control over that, because they know that we are watching specific things. We are watching, what's on social media, what's on the TV, what's on these different things. You start to see those things. And then if you're pushing it more and more and more, people start to like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Oh yeah, I get it. Oh yeah, that's right. Because as I stated before, when she said, well, when Tia said, well, I really sat back and started thinking that, man, I really need to care about myself, because I've been caring for other people for so long. And this and that. For one, her oldest is 11, her baby is 4. So these different things. And it's like, okay, does it mean that you have to give up on working together to build each other up and to build a strong nuclear family, to take care of yourself? It's those types of things. Good morning. Said Detroit, Michigan. Nadia said, and I think it's foolishness and self-seeking as well as the mind of a person with no spiritual relationship with the Most High. I agree. When we get into that, the spiritualness, the spiritual healing, that type of stuff. I remember when I took my Shahada, I'm a revert for those who don't know, or a convert. I said revert, and I usually don't say that. I think, see what I'm talking about with society, with media? You start to say things and you're like, wait a minute, I'm a convert. I say convert because I feel like revert is like you knew that you were whatever. That's another talk for another day. So anyway, I say convert. But I remember when I took my Shahada, when I converted to Islam, the sister told me, I asked the sister about that, because I wasn't in a place in my life to just get the things so I can look Muslim. I'll say that, right? I felt it in my heart, but it's like, okay, well, I didn't have this stuff. I was between jobs. I was a single mother. There was a lot going on. And then I remember, or I asked the sister, I said, I want to convert to Islam. What do? I don't have all the stuff. I don't have the things, to look Muslim, so to speak. I don't have things to, I don't have it to get. I'm a single mother. I'm taking care of a child. I don't have that to buy my own stuff like that. That's what she told me. And I remember that, and it's still true to this day. I talk to my child. I don't care if I'm going through challenges, problems, drama, whatever. Because of my relationship with Allah, with the Most High, it doesn't matter. I know that things are going to be well. I know that either I'm going to learn from this situation, I'm going to grow from this situation, I'm going to keep it pushing. It's going to be something. I know Allah got something better for me every step of the way. But that's so true. That's so true, because that lack of spiritual guidance. The same thing when I talked about earlier about the Ciara, and I felt there was a big disrespect to her husband, her family dynamic, for going out there in public like that, showing off your body and all of your assets, so to speak, for the world to see and talk about. And yes, people say, well, he didn't do this and he should have. That's true. I agree. I agree that he should not have allowed that to happen. But right now, how society says, well, you shouldn't let no man tell you what to do because now you're oppressed. It's not about, submit. What? Why submit to who? No man gonna tell me what I can and cannot do. Your husband is the protector, maintainer, provider for you. That's what he's supposed to do. And if you take that away from him, then what? See, that's the thing. So many women are taking that away from men. What they're naturally created to do. And they're wondering why it's so screwed up. And then when they want them to protect them, then they're like, what for what? You didn't want me to protect you then? I stated that before when I talked about raising feminist boys. Because they were talking about, it was some round table discussion of these women, and they were talking about raising feminist boys. I said, you can get one or two things. You don't get one of them boys like that, hey, hated it, or you're going to get a son or a boy that say, you know what, why should I protect and take care of these women? For what? They like me. They just like me. Why don't they do it themselves? Why don't they take care of me? Type of thing. Both confusing, messed up. Both messed up. So I was like, no, I have sons and I'm not raising them to be feminists. I'm raising them to be men. My family, my husband and I, we're raising these boys to be men. This family is a nuclear family, even though people were like, oh, well, but it's polygyny. It's not the traditional family or whatever the case may be. It's a strong nuclear family with the father and the mother or the mothers or whatever. And we raise these kids, raise these children, raise these offspring to be healthy members of society, to be strong within themselves, to also understand gender roles and how we were created. We're different. We're not the same. Men and women are not the same. And please believe, I am so happy to be a woman. I do not want to be doing the things that men are built to do. I am fine, happy, fine with being the nurturer that I am. So people like you have an issue. But when it gets to the point where you are having those issues, you wonder why your world is falling apart around you. You are not strong in your faith, when you're not strong in your deen. You're questioning these things that are natural and normal. When you are pushing things that are unnatural, immoral. That's heavy. It's heavy. Let's say, let me get into some of the comments. If you guys have any questions, definitely make sure you are, make sure you put question marks in the area. So I know which are the questions. I'm gonna give you guys something to see real quick. Let me know, because I talked a little bit about the campus. So I want you guys to get a glimpse and an idea of what our OPR campus is about. And then we're going to take a few questions, look at some of the comments, and open up the floor to discussion on this topic before I close out, because I do have a webinar in about 10 minutes. So I'm gonna let you guys see something real quick, and then in about 5 to 7 minutes, we're gonna close out. All right, where are we? Here we go.
Polygamy.
Polygamy.
Polygamy. Polygamy.
Polygamy.
Polygamy? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Hello, wives.
Hello, husband.
Isn't it frustrating to see all these relationship and marriage experts not mention polygamy as though it's not an ancient solution to a modern day problem right now? Or how about those that talk against it, yet we don't know their relationship status, or they're involved in all kinds of scandals because they're scandalous?
And another thing that's so frustrating is when they're here today, gone tomorrow, and they don't offer you any tips or best practices for best results.
Or what about the religious leaders? And yes, I am calling them out, the religious leaders who don't talk about polygyny or are afraid to talk about polygyny like it's some taboo type of topic or something. And that's why we created our education campus at oprcampus.com.
Absolutely. We know that we need to make sure we have an area where we can get continuing education on all levels of relationships. So it doesn't matter if you're talking about premarital because you're single, or if you're a monogamy, you really want to build a life of fulfillment and craft it, or you choose to practice polygyny, but you need to actually have a good example so you can do it in a healthy manner.
And what's so awesome about our campus is that we have meet and greets.
And in these meet and greets, you can meet with your fellow students. You can meet with your coaches. We talk about different things with your classes. Yes, we have online live classes and challenges. So when you check that leaderboard, yes, there's a leaderboard in the campus as well. It can give you some fun, friendly competition amongst your students, amongst your peers, I guess I should say.
So with that, we want you to go ahead and make sure you have all the details. So go to oprcampus.com or click the button below to make sure you're fully plugged in, especially if you want to make 2023 your best year yet.
So click that button.
And we'll see you in the campus.
Alrighty, so how many of you are part of the OPR campus? Raise your hand, put a raised hand in the comments. If you are, if you're not, definitely go check it out. We have a number of things going on, and I actually have a class, a live class, this upcoming Monday is going to hone in more on overcoming jealousies and also just keeping that strong nuclear family while embracing your individual identity and that self-care, which goes into Nadia's point right here. You're supposed to take care of yourself in every way, but your physical should never be first. And those who believe understand that. Exactly. Caring for your inner, caring for that soul, that heart, that spiritual, that mind, all of that is so much more important. So that should be what you focus on first. The other things will fall into place. As I stated before, that the true words, I don't know, it was very true words to me that was spoken that stated, take your shahada and everything will fall into place. Because it wasn't even just taking your shahada, it was like, it was taking your shahada, but it's that taking your shahada to the point where you are believing it. So, because some people, they can just say stuff, they can say things, oh, I believe in this, or oh, this is what I did. And I can recite, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, and say that. So I can say these things. And then is it in, are you feeling it in your heart? Are you living that? Are you living those things? So I really believe when she did tell me that, it was the whole thing of that, hold it wholeheartedly, so it's not just saying it, it's believing it, it's living it, it's breathing it, it's holding it so close, and everything will fall into place. And that is so true. So when you're constantly working on your inside, that beauty is going to shine through on the outside. You're going to radiate that, and you don't have to show, your body in order for that to be seen. So I digress on that, but it's those different things where I do believe, and I'm seeing how heavy it's affecting the lives of our future generations. It's affecting them heavily, where they thinking that this is how it's supposed to be, and there's so much competition and comparison that people are not moving forward and the legacies aren't being built like they should. But we have to have this conversation. This is why this is important. This is why the conversation is important. We raise awareness for it, because once you are aware of it, and you call it out and you put it out there, then you can start fixing it. But if you're not going to hold yourself accountable or hold other people accountable, then don't expect things to change. Don't expect things to get better, I should say, because things are going to change. Change is inevitable. But do we want to change for the positive, or do we want it to change for the negative? And if we wanted to change for the positive, and again, we got to be that change. And sometimes it's having those hard conversations and it's calling out the wrongdoing, because that's what we should be doing, and showing how to be better. And of course, like I said, we do that at the OPR campus when it comes to helping and teaching those things. I look forward to seeing you guys there. I'm going to get ready for this webinar. If you guys are not part of the webinar, it is free, so definitely sign up if you haven't signed up, and check it out. Is Jealousy and Polygyny, Get a Grip So Your Marriage Won't Slip. I'm going to start it in about 5 minutes or so. And if you are not registered, go to learnwithcoachnyla.com in order to register for that webinar. All right. So if there aren't any more questions or comments, definitely thank you guys for spending this time with me in this tea and chat and discussing this very serious topic that definitely needs some attention put on so we can get better. You know, we have to do better. We have to know better, learn better, do better. So until next time, make sure you are growing intentionally, loving fearlessly, and connecting on a higher level every single day. See you soon, inshallah, God willing. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.